Good morning, students. Today we will have to discuss about the Thallophyta. It is one of the group of the Plantae. We have discussed previously Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperm and Angiosperm. Thallophytes are those particular plant body whose root, shoot and leaves are not distinguished. They are Plantae, they includes Plantae because they are food autotrophs. But most of the thallophytes are aquatic in nature. Few of the plants are leads their life in moist. Some are epizoic, that it leads their life on or in individuals, just like in case of the chlorella. And some of the, it has been observed that some of the thallophytes are parasitic also. This thallophytes is of three types, that is green algae, that is red algae, and that is the brown algae. It means this particular thallophytes, we can study the thallophytes under the heading algae, and they are the green algae, red algae and the brown algae. All are photoautotrophs. It means they each and every alga have chlorophyll. A and B. Now today, in this particular lecture, we will discuss about the Chlorophyta, which is green algae. What are the characteristic features of the Chlorophyta? We will study here. Firstly, each and every Chlorophyta have chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. It is the photosynthetic pigment. In addition to that, carotene and xanthophylls are also present, but it is predominantly, abundantly present. So it look like green. In addition to that, carotene and xanthophylls are also present, but due to presence of the abundance of the chlorophyll, its appearance is green. Now, on the basis of different cell, this Chlorophyta, if they are unicellular and motile. Unicellular and motile. It means the individual is unicellular. Of course, Plantae are multicellular, but here few examples are cited here in case of the unicellular also, because most of the characteristic features are identical or they resemble to the plant-like. So we will study this unicellular motile in under this particular algae, that is Chlorophyta, and their example is Chlamydomonas. Some of the unicellular non-motile algae are chlorella, and it has been observed that the some of the algae are filamentous. It is very common algae, filamentous algae, and that is Eulerstricks and Spirogyra. Eulerstricks stagnant and Spirogyra floating but are unbranched. In case of the filamentous branched, that is called cladophore. And it has been observed that the sum of the unicellular algae leads their life in form of colony, and they are wall walks. one of the characteristic feature of the chlorophyta that their cell wall is made up of cellulose but have a outer pectate layer. One of the characteristic feature that is called two-layered cell wall. One is the cellulosic layer, another is the layer of pectate. And their reserve food material is starch for all plant. But in addition to that, pyrenoid body is also present, where the starch is covered by the certain proteinous structure. That is, their number is 1 or more than 1. It is one of the characteristic feature of the chlorophyta also. If a individual, just like we have seen here, the motile, it means the flagella is present. Their flagella may be 2, or in certain cases it has been observed that their number is 4, that is biflagellate or quadriflagellate. But the flagella is always 9 plus 2 structure, and they are originated from the basal body. We will discuss the certain examples of the chlorophyta, that is the Chlamydomonas, that is the Eulerstricks, and that is the Spirogyra, their structure and a basic pattern of the reproduction also. We will discuss it with the help of the certain figures just after that. Now this is the first figure of the algae, that is the Chlamydomonas. Just you will observe in Chlamydomonas there are 2 flagella, and both are originated from the basal bodies. Below that flagella, contractile vacuole is present, and that contractile vacuole is responsible for the maintaining the internal concentration of the water, and that is called osmoregulation. That is called osmoregulator. Just below that there is a eye spot, there is a pigmented body, and they are responsible for the receiving the sunlight. There is a U-shaped, horseshoe-shaped chloroplast is present, and that chloroplast surround a nucleus, that is the nucleus present. Inside nucleus the volutine granules are also present, and this chloroplast have a pyrenoid body. Just we have discussed in the previous in this particular lecture that pyrenoid body is the starch surrounded by the that is a proteinous structure. It is a top shaped structure. If you see the LS of the Spirogyra, then you can observe. Now in the LS of the Spirogyra, Chlamydomonas, you will see that this flagella have 9 plus 2 structure, and the chloroplast is surrounding the nucleus. Now in the LS of the Chlamydomonas, that you can observe that there are centrally located nucleus and chloroplasts surround that particular nucleus. Mainly our intention of this particular LS is to show the internal structure of the flagella. It is biflagellated, the flagella is originated from the basal body, and the flagella have, you can say that the 9 plus 2 structures. Now this is the life cycle of the Chlamydomonas. Just you will observe that it can reproduce by the asexual and sexual both the method. Here you will see that this Chlamydomonas is haploid structure. In favorable condition, what happens whenever they grow up to the mark, then what happens, it lost their flagella and they are become deflagellated, and after that what happens, they divide mitotically 1 to 2, 2 to 4, and that 4 cells will be come out in form of the zoospore. That zoospore again functions as a adult Chlamydomonas. But in case of the sexual reproduction, you can observe that whenever this two flagellate, two spirogyra, after getting a suitable conditions, when fuse to form a tetraflagellated structure, and when nucleus fuse to form a zygote, and then zygote by the process of the meiosis it will convert into motile spore, but it is called meiospore because it is a meiotic product. We can see in schematic this type of diagram, you will observe that in asexual reproduction it will form, suppose this is the two spirogyras, one is the negative, another is the positive. In asexual reproduction, from negative all are the negative spirogyra, and from the all positive all are the positive spirogyra, but all are mitotic product, they are they are motile, they have biflagella. But whenever they fuse, just you will see here that the one positive and one negative fuse to form a zygote, and this zygote, the before zygote formation, the flagella are four, so it is tetraflagellated structure. Now flagella lost and the zygote is formed. After sometimes it has been seen that the meiosis will be takes place, and by the meiosis two positive and two negative, four meiospores are formed, and ultimately they will convert into chlamydomonas. Now we can observe in this schematic diagram or the graphical diagram that chlamydomonas asexually reproduce into zoospore, hypnospore and pamela stage. Zoospore always in the favorable condition, but pamela stage and hypnospore are unfavorable conditions. Here you can observe that when chlamydomonas fuse to form a diploid structure, and this diploid structure by meiosis it will convert into zoospore, and after getting the suitable condition it will form a chlamydomonas. Now it is the second example of the algae, that is called spirogyra. You can see here that spirogyra is a filamentous algae, unbranched filamentous algae, but and it is free floating in adult form, but in the juvenile form it has a hold fast, it is attached with the substratum having non-chlorophyllous segment, but after some times it has been observed that it detached and it will form ribbon like structures, and because of the outer slimy layer it is also called pond silk or pond scum. A unique structure of this particular spirogyra is that their chloroplasts are ribbon like, and their cytoplasm are present peripherally, and a clear vacuole is present in the center, that is called pyrimodial utricles, peripherally cytoplasm and centrally located chloroplast. In this stage, in this phase, you will see that the life cycle is also two types. One is the asexual, another is the sexual. In the asexual mode of the reproduction, you will see that it will convert it into aplanospore, azygospore and echinate. Among them, some are in the favorable condition, but echinate stage is just in the unfavorable condition. Here you can observe that the conjugation is the basic process of the sexual reproduction. Conjugation may be lateral or the spiral like or the ladder like. You will see here when two strands come together, elevation will form, and ultimately by fusion two nucleuses fuse to form a zygote. Now this is called diploid phase, a very small phase, very short phase, that is diploid phase, when after conjugation both nucleus is fused. After that, what happens? The meiosis will take place and the haploid nucleus convert into spore, and which will germinate to form the spirogyra. Now, it is the just a graphical representation of the life cycle of the spirogyra. You can observe that here this one is the vegetative filament, and this vegetative filament, after getting suitable conditions, they will convert into zygospore. After in adverse condition, they will form the echinate stage or aplanospore, that is the asexual mode of reproduction. But in the sexual mode of reproduction, you will see that the two gametes fused to form a zygote. That is not the two gamete, but the two strand part where nucleus is fused by the conjugation, and ultimately a zygote is formed. It is only the diploid stage, and after that again meiosis is responsible for the formation of the haploid stage. Now the nucleus, 4 nucleus form the 4 haploid spore, and they will germinate to form the vegetative spirogyra. Now it is the third example, that is Eulerstricks. Here you will see that it is the fixed ribbon like non-floating structure having a non-chlorophyllous holdfast. The basic segment of this particular is non-chlorophyllous and have 3 types of the segments. One is the holdfast, another is the square shaped, and third one is the upper apical cells. There is a unique feature of this particular each and every segment. Here you will see that there is a C-shaped chloroplast. There is a C-shaped chloroplast, and in the center of this chloroplast nucleus is present. Vacuoles are not being seen, but have well developed paranoid bodies are present. Their number is more than 1. Here not 1. Their number is more than 1. It is also autotrophic algae. Now this one is the life cycle. Very much important, we can say that it is a very much complicated life cycle is seen here, that in the asexual reproduction it can divide by the pamela stage, by the echinate stage, by the hypnospore, by the macrozoospore, by the microzoospore, by the aplanospore. These are the so many spores are formed either in favorable or unfavorable condition, but at the same time we can observe this particular haploid segment divided into mitotically divided into gametes, and when that gamete fuse, that gamete will form the zoospore, and zoospore have 2 flagella, that is called biflagellated, and they will fuse to form the tetraflagellated structure or quadriflagellated structure, and it is also called quadriflagellated zoospore. And after some times it has been observed that the all flagella are removed and only zygospore become diploid zygote is there. Now the meiosis is responsible for the formation of 4 haploid zoospore, and ultimately each and every zoospore form a vegetative structure of the Eulerstricks. It is the schematic diagram of the life cycle. Here you can observe that it is the vegetative plant, and these all are, that is all pamela stage, that is echinate stage, hypnospore, macrospore, microspore and aplanospore, all are the asexual product of the Eulerstricks. And here you can say that when the Eulerstricks, the gametes, that is called similar type of the gamete are fused, both are zoospore like, they will fuse to form the quadrispore and ultimately form the zygote, and the meiosis is the ultimately product of the new vegetative forms. This is all about this life cycle of the Eulerstricks. Saurabh? एक बार कर दिया. Yes, friends, we have discussed the chlorophyta of the algae. Now the second type of algae is the rhodophyta. It is also called red algae. This one is called red algae. Just the algae, we have told you that algae are those particular plantae which has capacity to prepare their own food. It means they must have chlorophyll, and with the help of chlorophyll they same way here you will see that the pigment chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B is present. But in addition of this chlorophyll, phycoerythrin, it is the cause of the redness, is also present inside it, and due to this phycoerythrin it is called red algae. Most of the red algae are marine, and it has been observed that all red algae are not appear red, but the red algae who leads their life in the deep water, they look red because they absorb the green light and reflect the red light, so they are called red algae. But in contrast, the red algae who leads their life, the algae which has phycoerythrin also, but leads their life on the upper surface, they looks green. It has been observed that their food stored, the starch is the main food which will be stored in the Plantae. Here the fluorine type of the starch is present, and they are made up of amino, pectin and glycogen. It is a special type of the starch. The cell wall is also cellulosic and pectic, and they reproduce by fragmentation, that is called vegetative mode of reproduction, by asexual reproduction, that is called sporulation, and by the gamete formation they also reproduce by the sexual. It means all the three types of the reproduction is observed in the red algae. It present in abundance, so the tides, the oceanic region looks red, so they are called red tide zone also. But in case of third type of algae, that is called Phaeophyta or the brown algae, that is Rhodophyta, previously the Chlorophyta. Third one is the Phaeophyta, that is called brown algae. It has been observed it is also photosynthetic, so it has also chlorophyll A and B. But in addition of the phycoerythrin, or in addition of the xanthophyll or the keratin, it has fucoxanthin. Whenever it will come in contact with the sunlight, their color is brown, so it is called brown algae. And its size is very long, like 20 meters, 30 meters. But it has been observed the certain brown algae are fixed with the bottom with the help of holdfast, and the rest of the part is green, and they includes laminaria. But most of the algae, brown algae, are free floating, and the sargassum is one of the important free floating, and they are called that is called carp of the long brown algae. Their abundance, check the entry of the large sea boats and others also. Its cell wall is also cellulosic, but have a outer covering alginic acid. It has a very much significant role. Just we have told you that their size may be 20 to 30 meters. It means that particular long thread-like structures, long filamentous structure will have to face the stress of the low tides and high tides. And this alginic acid make it very much viscous, lubricant. Because of that, it also, that algic acid prevents that particular algae for the desiccation, as well as it also prevent it from the quick drying. So these are the certain significant characteristic feature of this type of the cell wall. Of course, it also reproduced by the asexual sexual reproduction, and their food result is in form of the complex polysaccharide, that may be sugar or that may be higher alcohol. That is all about the algae. Now in next lesson we will discuss about the bryophyta.